Hi, my name is Dallas Jones, and this is my project over at Atlas Shrugged. First off, I'd like to define the following: objectivism and collectivism, because that's what's required. And it took me a while to find objectivism, but when I finally found it, it put it in the very simplest terms for me, and which really helped me understand it better. I went to this website, which is for Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand. I can't really say her name right, but she put it this way: nature to be commanded must be obeyed, or wishing won't make it so. You can't eat your cake and have it too. Man is an end to himself. Give me liberty or give me death. She put it that way, which helped me really understand it better as self-interest more. And then when you look at collectivism, it was more interest of everyone, not just yourself. It's everyone above you. You got to put the needs of the many over the needs of the few. So that's just my definition of that. And is there a mix of this in society today or politics? I believe there is. It's the country itself, America, is going more towards collectivism now than it is objectivism. It has a lot of signs of being very collectivistic in the sense of Obama and Obamacare and just the Liberal Party, which is growing. And I think it's pretty much the country's going to go more liberal now from now on. But we'll get into that later with Obamacare. And then it says pick a character foil. And so when I went and picked a character foil, I was originally going to do Mouch and Reardon. But when I ended up doing it, I couldn't find a lot out on Mouch. And I didn't actually have the book with me. So it was hard to actually find what I needed. So what I ended up doing was doing Hank Reardon and Francisco de Anconia. And because I looked up character foil online, and it said either two characters that are very different, or it's two characters that are alike but like have one difference. And the difference I found was that I'm using the movie because I haven't read the book yet. So from the two movies we watched, I could tell that Hank Reardon was fighting for his company, for the rights of all men, where Francisco de Anconia just said, screw it, I'm done, no more. And he ended up burning his mines and just getting rid of all his assets so the government couldn't take it. Which is what Elias Wyatt did, I think his name is. He just put that sign up and said, I left it how I found it, take it or whatever, something like that. And then for my quotes for both of them, I'm going to start off by Hank Reardon. That's going to be the first one to do. It said, I hold that there is no clash of interest among men who do not demand the unearned and do not practice human sacrifice. Okay? And I'm just going to go down the list and then I can just talk about them, summarize all of them. This one is where he's in a court setting and he's defending himself. No, I do not want my attitude to be misunderstood. I shall be glad to state it for the record. I am in full agreement with the facts of everything said about me in the newspapers. With the facts, but not with the evaluation. I work for nothing but my own profit, which I make by selling a product that they need to men who are willing and able to buy it. I do not produce it for their benefit at the expense of mine, and they do not buy it for my benefit at the expense of theirs. I do not sacrifice my interest to them, nor do they sacrifice theirs to me. Okay. Then he goes on to say, I refuse to apologize for my money. If this is evil, make the most of it. And you can obviously tell by, here's one more. When you have made evil the means of survival, do not expect men to remain good. Do not expect them to stay moral and lose their lives for a purpose of becoming the fodder of the immoral. Do not expect them to produce when production is punished and looting rewarded. Do not ask who is destroying the world, you are. And that's Francisco de Anconia. And both these people, as you can see, I'm going to read the rest of Francisco de Anconia, but as you can see so far that they're both very I don't know if this is a word, objectivistic, but they believe strongly in objectivism. As you can tell, they're self-made. Not like I say self-made, but they worked really hard for what they got. Hank Rearden, I don't know what's wrong, created miracle metal, or metal that was steel, but stronger than steel, lighter than steel, had more uses, was put down. Francisco D'Ancona, was a playboy but a millionaire, but he owned a lot of things in the process. So, and he had coal business, I believe, mining, something mining. I think he did mining. Let me read the rest of Francisco D'Ancona. You get a better picture of what he did. When you see the trading is done not by consent, but by compulsion, when you see that in order to produce you need to obtain permission from men who produce nothing, when you see that money is flowing to those who deal not in goods but in favors, when you see that men get richer by graft and by pull than by work, and your laws don't protect you against them but protect them against you, when you see corruption being rewarded and honesty becoming self-sacrifice, you may know that your society is doomed. And this is probably his theory on why it's okay to burn everything. So you think that money is the root of all evil. Have you ever asked what is the root of money? Money is a tool of exchange, which can't exist unless there are goods produced and men able to produce them. Money is material shape of the principle that men who wish to deal with one another must deal by trade and give value for value. Money is not the tool of moochers who claim your products, but by tiers or of the looters who take it from you by force. Money is made possible only by the men who produce it. Is this what you consider evil? So as you can see, they both swing more objectivism, but both of them also, well, one of them, Francisco, went into his own deal and ended up ruining his company, giving away his money, where Hank Rearden's really fighting for everything. So that's the one difference between them, is they fight. One fights for what he believes in one way and another. Pick 3 events or public figures. Okay. I picked Obama. I actually did 2 characters and 1 event. Obamacare is the first event. In Obamacare, as you well know, believe it's not very popular at the moment because it keeps failing. The website failed, and I got some quotes here from people because I'm supposed to have 3 quotes. Here he is. Obamacare is just the forced sharing of an American asset. As you can tell, that's a very strong right view, I guess you could say, very objectivism. That's by Bill O'Reilly. And then I have another one. You do have the right to health care and the right to education and decent housing. That's Melissa Perry on Obamacare, which I don't believe in, but it's very socialistic. And that's a form, and then here's Bill O'Reilly again. He says that's a form of communism because no country should afford those payments without seizing the assets of everybody else. So as you can see, it's pretty trivial matter. Let me go down. And then my other characters are Hillary Clinton. When we need to stop worrying about the rights of the individual and start worrying about what's best for society. I prefer we're all in it together society. Hillary. I believe our government can once again work for all Americans. It can promote the great American tradition of opportunity for all and special privileges for none. And I got Obama. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So far, so good, right? But later he continues his speech with his own agenda, that fidelity to our founding principles requires new response to new challenges, that preserving our individual freedom ultimately requires collective action. Collectivism, right? And then he says, the shrinking few do very well and the growing many barely make it. Our wives, mothers, and daughters that earn a living equal to their effort. The wages of honest labor liberate families from brink of hardship. So as you can tell right there, he is a big advocate of collectivism. Big advocate. And then I guess the last thing is describe the issue and current efforts being made to address the issue. Well, the current issue, I believe in objectivism. I believe you work for what you get, right? It's not handout time. That's not how the way the government should run, but that's the way it's going. Describe the issue of current efforts being made to address the issue. Well, that's the problem in this country. There's not a lot going on to address the issue. There's a lot of fighting, squabbling going on between both parties, so I'm not going to say that. I can't really tell you what's going on right now that's going to make it better, because nothing will, because everyone's fighting over it. Nobody really has a solution. It's just whichever party's in power at the time gets to make the biggest change. And I know this video is going to be over 10 minutes. I'm sorry about that. Describe a possible solution you have come up with to address this issue. Well, my belief is, I believe each party should have a separate time. 5 years. Give them 5 years. Give the Republican Party objectivism, and then give the collectivist party, Democratic, 5 years to make changes. Whichever one makes the biggest change for the better, give them the time after that for, say, 20 years to make the biggest changes. Hopefully it benefits society. If it doesn't, oh well, guess what? We can only be worse off. I mean, it's not going to be, I mean, we can only be better off. Because so far, we're just going farther and farther downhill. And we're never going to really reach agreement, so I'm not going to say we need to reach an agreement over something. And another thing is, I know it's just me just saying, but I believe only those who pay taxes should be able to vote and run for office. Because if you do not pay taxes, then really, what stock do you have in this country? None, right? That's how I view it. I believe people that don't pay taxes, man, I wouldn't go as far to say own property, but that would be a good option. And then it says solution is an objectivistic or collectivist, and why you believe this is your best option. I believe objectivism is the best option. Collectivist, not really. Everyone working together. See, our society advances through competition. That's what I believe. I believe competition is the way our society advances. We make the biggest advances when everyone is trying to compete with each other to make the best products, make the best thing out there for society as a whole. Best ideas, but it forces people to be better and better. See, collectivism is great if you have, like, say, a dictatorship or something like that, where you give an order and everyone everyone has to follow it to a T together. But other than that, I just say objectivism. That's basically my project. Thank you for your time.